friends, this is the Steampunk Mechanical Workshop by Lumibricks. It's set number 11015 with 2006 pieces. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into this model. We're going to look at all the features. We'll go floor by floor, and we'll look at the vehicle that's included, and we'll look at the figures that are included. What we're looking at is a building that exists on a specific street in this steampunk city. It is Iron Cinder Street. That's the name of the street. And it is a homegrown workshop that is the pride of this particular steampunk city because it gives the citizens the ability to repair all their mechanical items, even build new mechanical items. And this building has a connection to another set that Lumibricks makes called the Steam Elephant, the Steamphant for short. And as you can see, it's got this beautiful steampunk aesthetic, gears everywhere. It's got some functionality. It even has a special thing that lights up when you put one of the figures in place. And it has not one, but two automatons inside it that are essentially steampunk versions of androids or robots. So we'll take a look at all that. We'll look at all the lighting features too, and all the different details. And then just real quick, the back of it is pretty plain. And the reason for that is the whole thing hinges open. And here's the hinge right there down the center. All right, so let's take a closer look. Starting here on street level, we see the name of the street, Iron Cinder Street, with a lamp, and that's your first little light that's there. And you can see it actually, this street lamp has a gear on there, so you know it's a steampunk street. And we have a cart here, and this cart is run by Lily, one of the characters, and this is Lily. Lily is, I want to say, was she an orphan who the instructions say she was, when the early mechanical city renewal project claimed her parents, Lily was left to roam the city's margins alone, selling mechanical flowers to make a living. So she probably has the most tragic backstory of all of the characters. And what she does is she sells a bouquet of flowers, but the flowers are made out of gears. And so this is her little stand where she sells those floral bouquets of gears. And I guess that's a thing in this city, that people don't want living flowers, they want gears. And something to notice about these steampunk sets from Lumibricks is they have no floral pieces to them. And that's kind of refreshing because that is everybody else's go-to to like fill out detail is just add flowers, add a bunch of flowers, and that'll solve everything. Sort of like when you're cooking, they say, what is it? Double the chocolate and add bacon, right? And that's just some magic formula. Well, for a lot of the other brands, their magic formula is just add flowers, and that will solve everything. That'll you know, it covers up lazy design, to be honest, is what that does. But anyway, here's her cart. She has a couple of printed signs there. Everything you see here that's a decoration is a print. And behind it, you see the main doors to get into the workshop itself. And it says here, right above the doors, workshop. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, you've got your decorative gears, decorative fender here. And this little cart, it, of course, is removable. And it has one drawer up in front, another spiral gear here, and just gears everywhere, right? So that is Lily's cart. And there is this kind of mechanical item right here, and there's some tubing along the street to here as well, just to kind of maybe delineate where the streets are. But this mechanical mound is really here just to lock the hinge in place. So we'll remove that in a minute and take a look at how that works. Got a valve, got some exhaust maybe. This is a steampunk fire hydrant, everybody. So in the steampunk world, fire hydrants are brown. And then this is a crate that holds some of the extra parts for the vehicle that can transform, and we'll get to that. And this is a shop front window. So you see this awning has decorative gears, and it doesn't move, but you can see that it is a awning with counter space, and you can get into the inside through through there, you can see through, and think of this as the street-facing workbench, where maybe you drop off something that needs to get repaired, and the owner will fix it for you. And then we've got a door here. It's cool to use this a turnkey or a clockwork key in order to use that as a doorknob. And then pretty good greebling alongside as well, right? Some piping. These levers are at just the right height, so you can think of those as levers that they pull in order to turn the power on or do other things. Going up, you see these telephone handles here, nice arch, another valve. And I like that this valve the piping for the valve continues all the way down and down to the bottom here, where it connects with this power box or whatever box that is. So that is a nice thing that they've thought through the routing of these pipes, even though they're all made up. And the pipe tees off and continues up this flexible hose up to another valve. And then from here, it has this almost like maybe it's capturing rainwater or something like that. We've got another light right here, some sort of greebling there. And then one of the windows is right here, and they use these semi-spherical canopy pieces, and it's surrounded by this flexible hose. So this is an unusual way to do a window. I really like it, and I like that canopy piece that helps set this apart from other Lumibricks and steampunk builds. And then that same hose goes around the side and comes all the way, and then it goes into the workshop, which is kind of cool. Another couple pipes around this window. The window is all brown. With these windows, they do open up, and there's a little bit of decoration above it. And then coming over around, we see another one of these semi-spherical canopy pieces, decorations that flank it. And then going up, you'll see there's a propeller, 2 wings, and this propeller actually moves, and it is the way that you activate an action feature on the inside. So we'll take a look at that. And then coming up all the way to the top, you see that there is this mechanical crane, and the mechanical crane happens to be holding a flying machine. So this crane, it doesn't move up and down. I thought it might, because that's how the ore factory one is. It actually can tilt up and down, but it does have the ability to move these gears, and in moving these gears, it actually changes the height of the whatever it's holding. So you can see there, we're lowering that aircraft right now, and then we can raise it back up. And it has quite a bit of range to it, and the string is pretty long. Let's unhook it so we can take a closer look at this aircraft. So here's the aircraft. You can see that it has propeller, a base, and a person sits right in there, and it has maybe a suggestion of controls on it, and it's just a tiny little build. And this aircraft can be rebuilt into a trike, a 3-wheeled vehicle, and they provide some parts for you to make that change. So these are the extra parts, and we'll look at that alternate build in a second too. All right, so let's keep turning this around. We'll look at this one last side here. Here's the side of the crane. You can see from here the top of the structure, and that the top structure actually opens up. So we'll move the camera and we'll take a closer look at that as well. All right, and then coming down the side of this building, 2 other kind of just plain windows there. And then this is also where the battery box is. And this is some sort of, who knows, maintenance device, maybe a fire extinguisher or something like that. I'm not sure what that could be. Batteries are 3 AA batteries. And here is the hub right down here. So all the wiring that's inside comes to this hub. And then from here goes to this USB. So you could plug it into a power bank, or you can plug it into the AAA battery pack that I've got here. One thing that happened to me is that I was actually missing one of these brown tiles. And I think that's the first time I've ever been missing a part on a Lumibricks set. I don't think I've ever been missing a part ever. And I've probably built almost a dozen Lumibricks sets so far. So That's strange that it was missing a part. That's really unusual. Here we go. You take this part off, set it aside, and then you can pull it apart. And now we have full access to the interior, and it goes to 180 degrees like that. And we can look inside. So let's start with this side of things. And what we've got in here is another automaton. So this is a tool rack that's hanging above him. So look past that if you could. And what we're seeing is the automaton, and for his head, it's a lit like flame under glass. Next to him is maybe like a smokestack that's coming out of the automaton as well. And he's got a illustration of a heart behind glass, which is really cool. That's a clever way of saying, look, this is steampunk. You know, steampunk is mysterious science employed to build machines. That is kind of, to me, what steampunk is. He's got some sort of a badge here as well, and he's got his like silver arms that come down and connect to this torso, and his legs are all built up, kind of cool. Here you see a couple posters that are on the wall. So one that is, it looks like they're suggesting that this automaton can fly. So maybe he has a two-step configuration. One is he's got wings that deploy from his arms maybe. And then here is he can kind of Iron Man it. Maybe the bottom of his feet have propulsion. So maybe that's what we're trying to say there. And notice on the window there, there's an Easter egg. That is an elephant. So the Easter egg is that there is another character, and she, I believe, is the owner of this workshop. It's right here. And her name is Irina. Irina is described as the mother of the steam elephant. So around the same time that this was released, a steampunk elephant was also released. And so Irina is the inventor of it. And they mentioned that this elephant escaped from this workshop. It wasn't built and released, it escaped. So I never heard anything like that before in lore. So I thought that was kind of cool. And she was not devastated. She was proud that the elephant escaped. That's our understanding. Okay, and then behind the automaton is a balcony where you can place some figures. So that's that white area right back here. It runs the width of the building. And then on the side, we've got a control panel, a knob for it, more piping, and then a ladder so that you can get from this floor up to that platform. And then once you're up on that platform, you have access to a couple of additional levers and meters, and then another couple of lights and things that are back there. All right, so this tool, hanging tool like system is here to take care of the automaton, and you can actually move it. So I'll show you the action feature for it. We'll back up the camera a little bit, and you rotate this, and as I rotate this gear, it moves. So let's do that. Super slow, we might have to speed this up. So you see it moves maybe only about an inch or an inch and a half from side to side. There was something similar to this in the ore factory. They had a little like mechanical thing that was hanging. I also love the positioning of the lights. So there these 1x1 stud lights in a kind of amber color that are on each side that bring all the light in just the right place on the interior here. So it really feels like the robot here is the show, the star of the show, and it's getting the most light so that you can make sure you're working on it properly. There's one more poster here. Let's see if we can get into it. One more poster of this particular robot. So it's back there with a phone in case you need to call somebody because the robot escaped. All right, so that's that whole side. Now let's look at the other side. Okay, so down here is the ground floor of the workshop, and this is the side that is connected with the street, right? So here's that countertop opening, and then here is an entire area. And what this whole thing is, it's a charging station for another character. So This character right here is another automaton, and his name is Old Iron. And Old Iron is supposed to be part flesh. So we're talking about a cyborg now. And notice he's so much smaller, right, than the other one. So I don't know if that makes him more modern. Probably not, based on his name. His name has the name Old in it, so maybe he's left over. I think they said he's left over. Oh, from the first wars. So this guy has a story as well. Probably a tragic backstory, just like our orphan. But this being an automaton needs to be charged. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put him on the charging station, which is right here. And once I clip him in, when I clip him in, the charging station lights up. So three things turned on right now, right just then. These two lights here and this blue light. So the two red lights, this blue light. And notice the blue light's pulsing. So they have a little bit of a smart chip or something that is making that pulse and telling it to pulse. And we take them off. I'll take them off and you can see those turn off. Oh, I'm sorry. The blue one stays on all the time. The only things that came on were the two red ones. Yeah. All right. So how did they pull that off? When I originally saw the promo video for this, I thought that maybe it was this platform that is got some sort of a switch in it. But in reality, the switch is actually behind. So that is the switch right there. So if you look, there's a tiny black nub right there. And let me see if I can turn my stick around. If I press this little nub, then the lights will come on. So let's do that. So press the nub and the lights come on. So there's a tiny, tiny nub. So if you saw my unboxing video, you'll have seen that switch and what it looks like, but that's what that's for. While we're down here, you can see that there are stairs, and they are kind of a spiral staircase that goes up, and it goes up to the second floor. We've got another poster back there. This one, what does the poster say? It says charging guide. So this is probably the charging guide for our character named Old Iron. Just looking from the inside of that counter, you can see there's a little bit of equipment. There's a stool, not too much going on, but there is a way out. There's another door there. Okay, and then going up, we see the second floor. The second floor is more of a close, like detail workshop. So in here, there's a desk with this metal chair in here, a couple of, it's got a couple documents, and what's on there, I believe, is the flying machine. That's what's on the document for those drawings. It's got a pen with a quill. On the back side there is a different additional equipment, including one of these rose bouquets, some glassware as well. And then this, I think this is potentially a mini version of the steampunk elephant. I think that's what that is. You let me know. I'll put up a picture of it. You let me know if you think that's what that is the elephant. And then another Easter egg, there's the elephant, an illustration of it in the back there on a poster. And then this is the top of the stairs where they come up from downstairs. And then the wall has a shelf with a couple of other objects on the back. Okay, and then now we're up at the very top. This is the kind of glass roof, and you open it up, and the idea is that the flying machine can land in here, and this is where that flying machine lands. So if somebody is coming and going, boom, they can fly in here, and then you can land the flying machine right here. And then from here, they have access to get downstairs. So these little doors here, they fold open. They have hinges, so it's nicely done. And then from there, there is a ladder, and you can go ahead and go down inside. I like that they made this, ornate right here. These different decorations here too. And then there's this light that's strategically placed. And because that light is where it is, it actually, oh, I've got to close these to close that. With that light being where it is, it just helps make this glass top feel alive because there's additional reflections and things happening throughout there. So I like that they did that. On the other side here, there is one more light on this valve with the tank, and then some detailing that goes on up to the crane itself. So, you know, you can think of the crane as being steam powered or something. Of course, everything here is steam powered. All right, and then, so that's all the things there. One thing I wanted to mention is that in the images for the product, it does mention that you're supposed to be able to hang this flying machine and move it into this area over here. But in practice, it's not that simple. It kind of gets stuck. So you come around here and you're smashing it into the roof pieces in order to get it all the way over, but it can be done. So the space is just not perfect to make that happen. And then you can put it down. Yeah. So it'd be cooler, I think, if maybe this unit, this crane, could tilt. I think that would help a lot if this could tilt. Or if you could have the crane arm go out just a bit or in just a little bit. Those things would have helped with the playability. Here's a look at the rebuilt flying machine, and now it is a trike. So here's the front of it, one main wheel in the front, and then these two wheels at the back. And this used to be the front with the propeller, but now that's become the back of it. And they had you move these printed tiles just one stud forward to make it look as though that was now the front of it. So it was interesting reimagining. And there's the steering wheel kind of right at the top there. And then here's all the parts that I had to remove to make all that happen. It's quite a few little parts, but it's a quick little rebuild. You're only taking apart maybe 20%, 25% of the vehicle, and then you can redo it. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. And then let's take a look at the figures, right? So we've now looked at all the figures, and the only one that we didn't really talk about is this guy here. That is Zem. And Zem is described as a wandering mechanic, street mechanic, I think is what they called him. So each one of these characters have pretty good printing, good decorations. Zem's got a belt that carries through on his hips, which is pretty cool. And then I do like Arena's like vest, and it looks like she's got a necklace as well. And then for the backs of these characters, there is a little bit of printing there for each of them. That's just really just an extension of what you saw on the front. And then I don't remember if any of these had alternate faces. I don't think they do. I think, oh, she does. So Arena is probably the one flying the flying machine, or the trike. So you could think of her as having goggles when she goes to do that, which is great. That's very steampunk and perfect. So yeah, she's got goggles for that. And let's take a look at Lily. Does she have no, Lily does not have an alternate face. So yeah, let's do one more thing, which is to shut off some of these lights, and so we can see just the lights from the model. So here it is. These are just the lights from the model now. Pretty bright. You can see all of them, and we'll open it up. It gets even brighter on the inside. I mean, that is a lot of light. Really well done. Lumibricks, I love that they know where to put light. You know, they think about lighting design as a skill and as an art. They're not just putting light wherever is convenient, but they're trying to make it work with the in-universe or the world that we're experiencing through the toy. So examples of that are, like I mentioned, these spotlights that shine down intentionally into the right places. The street lamp over to the side, I think, is great. And then this room is just extremely well lit, like a workshop would be. Okay, so there's my look at the set. What did you think? Did you enjoy this look? Would you get a set like this? Are you already getting steampunk and maybe you hadn't thought about this one? Let me know what you think. I enjoyed it. I think that this particular set sort of flew under the radar as far as Lumibricks steampunk sets go. But I think it's one that is worth a look if you're trying to either add steampunk to a modular city, or if you just want to complete your collection, make sure you have all of them. This one definitely has the deepest backstory that I've seen of the different steampunk sets that I've built from Lumibricks. All right, so thanks so much for watching. Like it if you like it. Subscribe. We'll keep doing this. And thanks so much. Bye.